All right, shalom to the elect. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakodash. Right, and what I said was all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh, who was the Heavenly Father, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, whom the word ignorantly calls Jesus, in the name of the Holy Spirit, which in the Hebrew is Ruach. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, ever well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Okay, and this lesson is going into the Passover. All right. Wait me just 1 second here because day is March 13th, 2025. All right. And tonight at sundown is the will be, we will be keeping the high holy day, all right, of the Passover. All right. You should be keeping it. All right. Brothers have done lessons. All right. And it's on the Passover service and everything like that. Okay, so you can look those up. GMS Passover service. All right, with the apostles breaking it down with a blue background and everything. So you can look that up. But this lesson, I just wanted to go over the story and go into it. All right. Also, you should also understand that the Passover, the things that you do within the Passover have a spiritual meaning as well. From the lamb, to the wine, you know, just even to the very name Passover, man. And also remember Yahweh Shai's Passover, which was, the night he was betrayed by Judas Iscariot. All right. So, these things, keep these things in mind. Okay. But I just wanted to go into it. All right. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying, man. So I'm gonna share the screen here. Okay. And Lord willing, this is the last Slovakia. I wanted to get something else. I just want to have certain precepts on deck so I don't forget it. All right, so bear with me 1 second. Um, a lot of stuff I want to cover. All right. And Salaki, if you hear any background noises or if I pause or anything like that, all right, or mute myself. If that happens, just skip ahead to the point to where I continue to talk. Okay. Just letting that be known now. All right. So bear with me just 1 second. I'm gonna share my screen here. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect out there. All right, I'm gonna go full screen. All right, so I got here on Google, right? What is the Passover? And this is under AI overview, right? It says Passover, or the way you say Passover in the Hebrew is Pasach, not Pesach, right? But it's Pasach, okay? It says it's a major Jewish holiday commemorating the Israelites' liberation from slavery in ancient Egypt, celebrated with a special meal called a Seder in the avoidance of leavened foods. Now, the thing is, right, you got to understand, we're the real people, okay? But you have these, Edomites that pose as us, all right? Specifically, they're known as the Amaleks, they're Edomites, okay? They pose as us, they call themselves the Jews. They call themselves Jewish people. Your so-called Jewish people, your small hats, all right? You know, they you know, pose as us, they try to speak our language, all right, and they try to keep the high holy days, which they do it wrong and everything. Okay. But you know, it's why it'll say like Jewish holiday, etc. Okay, but just understand that we're the real people. All right, so just want to go into this once again. So lock it for the noises you hear in the background, right? But it says here's a more detailed explanation. All right, it says what commemorates Passover celebrates the story of the Exodus, where the Israelites, led by Moses, escaped from slavery in Egypt and were spared from the final plague when the Most High passed over their homes. Okay, and it says when it's celebrated, etc. All right, but you know, as I said, our apostles, the Elder Great Millstone, they let us know when the Passover really, comes in. And this year it is March 13th at sundown. All right, to March, and the full high holy day. So March 13th at sundown to March 20th at sundown, sundown, evening. Okay, so you know, you hold it the night of the Passover. You have your lamb, etc. And then you know from that point for the next, until well, we're gonna go into it. Okay, I'm gonna go into it more, but you're not supposed to eat unleavened bread for like 7 days. Okay, it's like you're not supposed to eat leavened bread, which is things that cause food to rise. It's an ingredient in slakia. I'm gonna say that again. Wow, slakia. But it's an ingredient that causes bread to rise. That's what leaven is. Okay. But you're not supposed to eat that on the first. Slakia. You're not supposed to eat that throughout this entire high holy day. For 7 days. You're supposed to eat unleavened bread. All right, and that's So we're gonna go into it. All right. I just wanted to see. So that's that on that. I'll leave that right there. All right. Now, one of the things we'll talk about, because Passover being the name of it, also pretty much going to go into when the Lord passed over us when we were in the Egyptian captivity. All right. One of the plagues had happened. So, typing on Google, what were the plagues of Egypt? Ancient Egypt. It says the plagues of Egypt were a series of 10 calamities that God sent to Egypt after Pharaoh refused to let the Israelites leave. The plagues are recorded in the Bible. So these are the 10 plagues. All right. It says the plagues of Egypt: water turning to blood. The first plague: frogs, boils, hail, locusts, darkness. All right. This was the last plague, the death of firstborn. But then, they said these here: flies, livestock, lice. All right, but the death of the firstborn, this was the very last plague. It says the death of firstborn, the 10th plague, which killed all the firstborn in Egypt, including Pharaoh's. Okay, so even his son wasn't touched. Okay, even his firstborn wasn't touched, man. All right, so you know that's going into the plague. So now I want to read this. Okay, so this is the book of Exodus, chapter 11, starting in verse 1. Right, and it's the subtitle here is the last plague. It says, "And Yahweh said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt." See, once again, that's why this is the last plague, right? You know, this was which is the death of the firstborn. It says that's why I say they don't really have this in order, but the death of the firstborn is the final plague. Exodus 11:1 again, as in Yahweh said unto Moses, "Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether." Okay, and this is another thing too, man. This is how if Jake, and you was raised in a Jake household, where your parents, how you watch Bible movies or whatever, as a little kid, you heard about Moses and the destroyer, the plague of the destroyer, etc. Them putting the blood on the doorpost and all of that. You know, um, it just goes to show, because the scriptures say that Israel has zeal the Most High. Jake is fervent about the Lord. All right, in general. Just wanted to add it in there too. But it says, yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Verse 2. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. All right. So after this plague, right, said The Lord saying afterwards he will let you go hence, meaning because Pharaoh wouldn't let our people go. Moses kept going to him saying, let our people go, but Pharaoh wouldn't, right? And this is our history. This is part of our history. The history of us so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Latinos, Native American, and Seminole Indians. Because we are the real Hebrew Israelites. We are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So this is a part of our history. All right. When you picture this, don't picture so-called white people under, these Hamites, all right, these so-called Africans, all right, you know, um, as when you read this, don't picture them as real people. Picture our people, because this is what it was. We're the real people. Okay, so verse 2. So after the Lord brings his last plague, he would let Pharaoh would let Israel go. Right, verse 2. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. Verse 3. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people. Right? Verse 4. Moses said, thus saith Yahweh, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt. Right? Salakia, just reading something. All right. Verse 4. And Moses said, thus saith Yahweh, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more. You see? So this was the plague. This was the final plague the Lord brought on the ancient Egyptians. Okay, that all the firstborn of Egypt died. Okay. Verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know, it's like against man or beast, that ye may know how that Yahweh doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Verse 8. And all these thy servants shall come down unto me, and bow down themselves unto me, saying, get thee out, and all the people that follow thee. And after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. All right. Verse 9. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. See, so Pharaoh wouldn't listen, so the Lord could enact these things. Okay? Enact these, let me look at the word wonder. All right? Wonder. Wonders. Strong's H 4159. All right, the Hebrew word here is mawapath. Okay? Mawapath. And it says wonder, sign, miracle. Portent, wonder as a special display of God's power, sign, token, a future event. All right? So a great wonder. Let me look it up here on Google. Wonder definition. It says a feeling of surprise. No, not that. Well, I could use this. It says a feeling of surprise mingled with admiration caused by something beautiful, unexpected, unfamiliar, inexplicable. Not really. Let me see. All right, here we go. A strange or remarkable person, thing, or event. All right. These are the different plagues. All right, and these different things, all right, the Lord would do. So back in Exodus 11, right, and verse 10 now. I'm gonna read verse 9 again. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my words, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land. Okay. But verses 4, 5, 6, go into, this is the upcoming and final plague on Egypt before Jacob's let go. All right. So now, with that being said, all right, the Lord said, about midnight, he will go out and you know, bring this plague. So now going into the next chapter, Exodus the 12th chapter, you see, and it says the Passover lamb. All right, let me just curious. All right, the Passover lamb. It says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron. All right, and just so just some Hebrew, in the midst of it. All right, it says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses. We know the Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh. It says, spake unto Moses. Now, Moses in the Hebrew, all right, Strong's H4872. Moses in the Hebrew is Masha, okay? And Aaron, Strong's H175 is Aharon. That's how you say Aharon. All right, that's how you say Aaron. In Egypt is Matazarium. Matazarium, okay? This is, some quick Hebrew. So just so you know, Exodus 12:1. Right, it says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Okay. And this so around this time, you know, around this time was what, spring. Okay, around the time of the Passover, pretty much the first month of the real year, of the true new year. Okay, not when Esau says, and that's Salakia. But yeah, I'm gonna just save getting that precept. But Esau changing stuff around. Esau has changed. A lot. Esau has changed. The calendar, the perception of time, and all that. Esau has been fiddling with a lot of stuff, man, messing a lot of stuff up. But his truth came out, and this has helped a lot of Jake. All right, but basically, right, around this time around this time of the Passover, the true New Year is okay. And also it's the year of, it's the season of spring, which shows you that it's the true New Year, because then spring, nature and everything springs forth again. How does a new, it's a new cycle. Let me just type this up real quick. Let me look it up here. What is they might say winter, but I'm just curious. First season. Okay. So here's a breakdown of the seasons. Yeah. It says Northern Hemisphere, the first season of the year based on the Gregorian calendar is spring, which begins March 1st. Here's a breakdown of the season spring, which is the first. Well, doesn't have to always be on March 1st. All right. But spring, summer, autumn, winter. All right. But spring is the beginning, okay, of is the beginning of the is that's around that season is when the true new year begins. Okay. Not January 1st when it's dead cold out, man. All right. You know, so just, it's something, you should understand, you know. Let me get this precept as well. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 13, and verse 4, right? I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, and Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage, for by strength of hand Yahweh brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. Verse 4, this day came ye out in the month of Bib. Now, when you look at this word of Bib in the Hebrew, Abayab, or Abayab, if I'm saying that right, Strong's H24, it says fresh young barley ears barley, but then it says month of ear forming, of greening of crop, of growing green of Bib, month of Exodus and Passover, March or April, but yeah, really, around March, all right, is when the true New Year begins, all right, and around March is when, the time of the season of spring begins, okay, so the New Year starts, around the time of the Passover, which is in March, all right. So moving on, Exodus 12:3. Speak ye unto all the children, speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. All right. Verse 4, it says, And if the household, so you take a lamb, all right. Verse 4, Slogger, this clock is throwing me off. Verse 4 says, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. Okay. Verse 5. It says, your lamb shall be without blemish. A male of the and blemish. Let me just look up, see what it says for blemish. All right. Strong's H 8549. Thamayim. Right. Blemish says, so say without blemish, but it's a complete whole entire sound. So, couldn't be nothing wrong with it. Says without blemish, complete, full, perfect, without spot, undefiled. All right. So you have to have a lamb. Let me just see if I can pull a picture. So in other words, a lamb couldn't have, it had to be perfect, pretty much. It had to be, a lamb that mean all these requirements. It was, it was no blemish, no spots, nothing like that. Right. So your lamb shall be without blemish. Okay. No spots, pimples, etc. On the lamb. It says a male of the first year. So it has to be, a year old. It says you shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And this also goes to show that, you can keep the Pasach, aka the Passover, all right, with goat meat. All right. It doesn't always, you don't have to keep it with lamb, but you can keep it with goat meat as well. All right. But, get lamb if you can. Okay. Verse 6, it says, and ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. Right. So you have to guard the lamb and keep it separate, until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And this was, the Passover night. Okay. This is, the Passover night. You would keep, so you would get the lamb, you would keep it, and you would kill it, on the 14th day of the month. This is the instructions the Lord gave Israel. Okay. Back, how to keep the Pasach. Right. But we understand that, in this kingdom we in, like scripture say, we got to go to our enemies for one of all things. So, you know, we rehearsing the righteous acts, man. So, you might, you go and buy some lamb chops. You don't know if that lamb had a blemish on it or anything, or if it was a female lamb, you know. So there's grace, and there's mercy here. All right. So, don't trouble yourself with it. All right. But so this is the instructions though. I'm going through the instructions, reading through it. Right. So it says, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. All right. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. Verse 7. And they shall take of the blood. Oh, and by the way, right? Because it say your lamb shall be without blemish. Now the spiritual thing is right, because Yahweh Shai, you know, he is he was, he's that sacrificial lamb. Let me first get this real quick. St. John chapter 1, verse 29. It says, the next day John seeth Yahweh Shai coming unto him, and saith, behold, the Lamb of the Most High, which taketh away the sin of the world. And the world being Israel, of course. All right. But Yahweh Shai is that lamb. All right. He's our sacrificial lamb. Okay. And guess what? As the scripture we read in Exodus said, right, your lamb shall be without blemish. Yahweh Shai was without sin. He was that perfect sacrifice, man. All right. Um, get this real quick. First Peter, uh, chapter 1, starting at verse 9. Well, yeah, verse 19. But without precious blood, Slakia. First Peter 1 and 19. But with the precious blood of Hamashiach, as of a lamb, without blemish or without spot. You see, Yahweh Shai, man, he was, perfect. Okay. He was perfect, and he was sacrificed. He died for our sins. All right. He's that he was that he Yahweh Shai is our sacrificial lamb. Okay. Well, he's our atonement. Now let me keep. So, like I said, there's a spiritual side as well. Verse 6, it says, "And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening." Verse 7, "And they shall take up the blood." So they will kill the lamb, right? They kill the lamb, says, "And they shall take up the blood and strike it on the two side posts on the upper door post of the house, wherein they shall eat it." So, you take the blood and you would strike the blood on the doorposts, okay, you know, on the sides and on the top. It says, the house where you would eat it at. Verse 8, "And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread." Okay. "And with bitter herbs they shall eat it." Right. So this is what you would have to eat, with the Passover. You would eat the lamb, you know, you would eat you would get bread that's unleavened. All right, let me just pull it up. What is unleavened bread? Block it. Leavened bread, right? It says unleavened bread is any type of bread made without leavening agents like yeast or baking powder, resulting in a flat, denser texture, often associated with religious traditions like Passover. All right, so um, examples. Common examples include matzah, traditional Jewish unleavened bread eaten during Passover, tortillas. All right, this is in lavash, but I mean, bread, like this bread that's, not leaven, don't got no leaven in it. Leaven is what causes bread to rise. So you got to eat this, all right, for like 7 days. You can't eat nothing with leaven, all right. But when you eat that Passover, you're supposed to eat the lamb, okay. You know, roast with fire, meaning it has to be cooked. It says in unleavened bread, you're supposed to eat unleavened bread with it. It says, "And with bitter herbs shall they eat it." You're supposed to have, bitter herbs, like, yes, bitter herbs. Okay. So you can buy, like some horseradish or whatever. That's a very bitter herb right there, man. Whew, man. And that's also symbolizes the tribulations. All right. Our trials and tribulations. Okay. But verse 9 says, "Eat not of it raw." All right. Nor sodden. All right. Meaning don't boil the lamb or goat in water. It says, "Nor sodden it all with water, but roast with fire his head with his legs and with the pertinence thereof." All right. Pertinence meaning entrails and intestines and all that. Right. So you're supposed to burn it with all of this. Verse 10, it says, "And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire." Right? So no leftovers of it. Whatever is left over is to be burned. Verse 11, "And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded," right? With your clothes on, okay? Your shoes on your feet, okay? That's pretty much, you know, that's self-explanatory. He says, "In your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste." You're supposed to eat it quickly, in a hurry. It is Yahweh's Passover. Okay, this is how you're supposed to do it. All right. And by the way, understand that this is not a lamb dinner. This is a solemn assembly. Solemn assembly. Okay. Let me see if I can find that real quick. This is not no lamb dinner, you know. You see these other camps, they don't get they want to make cookouts and dance all around and everything. You know, um, they want to, dance and everything and make merry on this day. Nah, man, this is a serious thing. All right. Um, Slocky. Solemn, but solemn means serious. All right. There's a certain priest I was looking for. Solemn. It says formal and dignified, not cheerful or smiling, serious. You see? So, oh yeah, and by the way, I almost forgot. Well, I was going to get into it later. Okay, but Exodus 12 and 11. And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded and your shoes on your feet and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover. So the Passover begins at the sundown, okay, of that night, right? Or of that day, rather, Salakia, sundown of that day, right? So today, March 13th, 2025, the Passover gonna come in, okay? Let me look at that word Passover so you know that in the Hebrew it's Pasach, okay? Passover, Strong's H6453, Pasach, Pasach. See, it's not Pesach. The way you say it is Pasach, all right? And it says Passover, or sacrifice of Passover, animal victim of the Passover, yeah, you know, you know. But yeah, man, all right. Yahweh Shai is our also, Yahweh Shai is our Passover, okay? And also, too, look, Yahweh Shai, his blood, you know, um, he's our atonement, his blood and everything, because the scriptures talk about how I'm gonna get it in the law, Leviticus 17. It says blood for atonement. Leviticus chapter 17. Where is it? And okay, verse 14. It says, "For it is the life of all flesh; the blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of oh wait, no, Salak, that's not it. Here it is. Leviticus 17 and 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for you." Okay, and that word atonement, see kapar. That reminds me of the Day of Atonement, which in the Hebrews, Yom Kippur. All right, you know, Strong's H3722 Kippur. Right, it says to cover, purge, make an atonement, make reconciliation, cover over with pitch. To cover over, pacify, propitiate, to cover over, atone for sin, make atonement for, to cover over, atone for sin. All right, and that's Yahweh Shai is our, um, he's our sacrificial lamb. Okay, he's our atonement. All right. So I just wanted to, make that clear as well. Back in Exodus 12, though, all right? So we got the instructions, right? So many instructions. Now, verse 12 says, "For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh." You see? So this was a judgment that was this was the last plague the Lord was going to bring on the Egyptians. The Lord going to kill all the firstborns. Right? Verse 13, "And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt." You see? So, and that word token, let me get that real quick. Token. Strong's H22, 226, a wath, right? And it says a sign. So token meaning a sign. So that blood from that lamb, right? That you would smite, that you would put on the doorposts, would be a sign that when the Lord passed through, the land that night, that He was going to kill the firstborns. All right, that he wouldn't destroy he wouldn't destroy Jake. He would pass over them. You see, and in this time we hope that the Lord passes over us. You see, we want the Lord to pass over us with this coming destruction. You see, and only the elect is the one that's going to be safe. All right, but now, so going and moving on, Exodus 12 and 14, it says, um, oh yeah, and by the way, let me get the scripture about the solemn assembly part. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, right, in verse 8. Right, it says the feasts of Passover, weeks, and of booths, but Deuteronomy 16:8. It says, let's start verse 5. It says, Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, but at the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and cook and eat it in a place which Yahweh thy power shall choose. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go into thy tents. Verse 8, 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread. And on the seventh day shall be a solemn assembly to Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. This is a solemn assembly, man. All right. Um, this is one of our holy days. Okay. Back in Exodus 12 and 14, it says, Feast of unleavened bread. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Verse 15, 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. You see, so we have shown here, the whole entire high holy day is for 7 days. All right. At the first day that it starts at sundown, you have, that the Passover, the lamb, the unleavened bread, the bitter herbs, etc. Right. And then, from that day for the next 7 days, at the seven from that sundown till day 7 at sundown, you don't eat unleavened bread. Okay. Exodus 12. And since you're supposed to put leaven out of your house, and if you can do it, if you can't, then the Lord understands that. All right. If your situation isn't allowing you, you live with family members or whatever, that's not the truth and all that. All right. Then that's different. Okay. Lead hearse in the righteous acts. Let me get that real quick. Judges chapter 5, verse 11. And it says, They that are delivered from the noise of noise of archers and the places of drawing water, which is represents slavery, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. See, we're gonna rehearse the righteous acts, which are what? Keeping the laws to the best of our ability. All right. And this is one of our laws. Okay. You see, it says words like shall, you shall do this. That's a law. All right. Verse 16, it says, And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be an holy convocation. All right. Convocation means gathering. All right. It means gathering. Okay, it wasn't that one. It's this verse. Makwara. Makwara. I'm saying that right. Yeah, Makwara. All right. And it says convocation, convoking, reading, or calling together. See, convocation is sacred assembly. Okay. A sacred assembly. Mm-hmm. Assembly, calling, convocation, reading. There you go. Okay. So gathering. All right. So it says, and in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save, meaning except that which every man must eat, and only may be done of you. So they say so on the first and seventh day of the Passover, no work is to be done. You know, except to make food without leaven. All right, but it, in this Passover, it's a Sabbath. Okay, tomorrow, tonight at sundown is going to be a Sabbath. Verse 17, it says, And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this self same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by ordinance forever. All right, verse 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread. See, in the 14th day. Okay, at sundown, which on the 14th, so the same night you eat the lamb, you eat unleavened bread as well. It says until the 1 and 20th day, which is 7 days later. 14 plus 7 is 21. So it says, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 20th, till the 1 and 20th day of the month at even. So the sundown that the Passover happens to 7 days later at sundown. Okay? You're not supposed to eat unleavened bread. It's called the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Verse 19, it says, 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Verse 20, ye shall not yet slack ye shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Once again, leaven is what causes bread to rise, and for this period of time, we're not supposed to eat anything with leaven. Okay, so you know, there you have it. All right. Now, verse Salaki, hold on. Now, verse 21, and that's only 7 days. You get to go to the store, get you some, unleavened bread, some Tostitos. You know, just sound good right now, to be honest. But some Tostito chips. All right. But it's only for 7 days, man. All right. So verse 21 says, that Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. It says, and ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, right? Which is the hyssop plant. It says, and dip it in the bowl, slack it, dip it in the blood that is in the basin, from the lamb, right? The blood from the lamb, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, So, uh, you know, so this is, in representation, a drawing, of what we did back in these times. Okay, you got the hyssop plant, and then you put the blood from the lamb on the doorpost, so when the destroyer will see it, it'll pass over. You know, the death angel will pass over. So back in Exodus 12, right, it says, and strike the lintel and two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. Right. And by the way, let me see if I can find it. Uh, okay. Deuteronomy 16 and 16 to 17, it says, 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before Yahweh thy power in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, which is what we're talking about now, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before Yahweh empty. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of Yahweh thy power which he hath given thee. All right, so you're not supposed to appear empty. Everyone, attending the Passover is supposed to bring something. It could be the candles for the menorah. It could be the menorah, the candles. It could be uh, the unleavened bread. Someone bring the lamb. Someone bring the wine. Someone bring, you know, the napkins, the plates, the spoons, forks, etc. The cups. All right. Somebody, got to bring something. All right. No, just wanted to add that in there as well. All right. But so yeah. So Moses is telling Jake, what he's supposed to do. Now, verse 23 says, for Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, Yahweh will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto you, and coming unto your houses to smite you. You see? So this is and hey, this time we want the Lord to pass over us, and we want the Lord to have this destruction pass over us, meaning not touch us. We want to be exempt from this destruction that's coming. Verse 24 says, and ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. Okay? Slovakia. Bear me just 1 second. because there was something else that a brother had mentioned before. All right, I was listening to video. Um, uh, hold on. Okay, I don't think I got there yet. Okay, I didn't get there yet. All right. Yes. All right. So let's keep reading. Verse. Anyone jump the gun? Exodus 12:23 says, "For Yahweh." So I read that part. All right. Verse 24: Ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever, and it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which Yahweh will give you, according as he has promised that ye shall keep the service. Yeah, even our land, we're supposed to keep it. We're in the land of Israel. Verse 26: And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, What mean ye by this service? Right? You have children and they say, What is this? What does this service mean? Verse 27: That ye shall say, It is the sacrifice of Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, and the people bowed the head and worshipped. And the children of Israel went away and did as Yahweh had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And now the plague is actually about to happen, right? Exodus 12:29. And it came to pass, right, that at midnight Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And by the way, this um death angel that killed the firstborn was Yahweh Shai. Okay, get this real quick. Book of Wisdom of Solomon. 18. Okay. So this is the Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18 in the Apocrypha. All right. Bear with 1 second. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, starting at verse 13, it says, For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledged this people to be the sons of the Most High. Right? So the Egyptians wouldn't believe the wondrous acts Moses did because they had magic and trusted in that. Right? But when the Egyptians' firstborns, started dying, then they acknowledged this, like then they acknowledged that we Israelites, that we're the sons of the Lord, or the Most High Yahweh, right? Verse 14: For while all things were in quiet silence, and that night was in the midst of her swift course, right? Well, that night, the nighttime came, the Lord will bring that plague. Verse 15: Thine almighty word leaped down from heaven out of thy royal throne as a fierce man of war into the midst of a land of destruction. And you know what I'm about to get, right? But get it. Um, St. John, first chapter, right? And it says, In the beginning was the Word. It's like in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the powers, and the Word was a power. The same was in the beginning with the Most High. All right. Verse 3: All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was the light, was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. This word, so who's this word? This is talking about Yahweh Shai. All right. Yahweh Shai. All right. That's the word. So you read Wisdom of Solomon 18. This is Yahweh Shai talking. This is thine. This is Yahweh Shai is talking about thine almighty word leaped down from heaven out of thy royal throne as a fierce man of war into the midst of a land of destruction. and brought thine unfeigned commandment as a sharp word, and standing up filled all things with death, and it touched the heaven, but it stood upon the earth. Right? You know, it says, verse 17. Then suddenly visions of horrible dreams troubled them sore, and terrors came upon them unlooked for. So these ancient Egyptians, they had nightmares, and they never thought these things could exist. All right. All right. But yeah, that was the point I wanted to get. All right. But back in Exodus the 12th chapter. Exodus chapter 12, right? In verse 29. So this was Yahweh Shai that was going down, killing them, killing the firstborn in Egypt, right? Not even just the Egyptians, but the cattle. All right, as well. First one of the cattle, verse 30. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. See that? The Lord did great things for Israel, man. Great things. Right? You know. So look, the Passover represents, mass death and salvation as well. All right. See, so the Passover it's a serious day, serious night rather. Okay, a very serious night. You know, so this is we're reading why. All right, but verse 31. Now the Exodus begins, and he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, "Rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone and bless me also." All right, so see, as the Lord told Moses, now, after this plague happened, the Lord would, thrust us out. Slacky, after this plague happened, Pharaoh would thrust us out from thence. He would let us go. See, Exodus of Israel, which the word Exodus, right, is mass departure. Exodus, the mass departure of people, especially immigrants, right? See, the departure of the Israelites from Egypt, you know. But where is it? Exodus 12 and 33 says, and the Egyptians were urging upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said, we be all dead men. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians. Verse 37, and the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, with flocks and herds, even very much cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough, which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual. Verse 40, now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. All right. Verse 41, and it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the self same day came to pass, that all the hosts of Yahweh went out from the land of Egypt. Okay, now it goes into the ordinance of the Passover, right? So it says here, right? And by the way, there is this a second Egypt coming. Okay, there's a new Egypt coming now. This I wanted to get some precepts for this, right? So I got here, right? Slakia, I'm going to say there's a second Exodus coming. All right. Second Exodus. Let me just, get all of me off the bone with this word Exodus real quick so you understand what it means. Right. Exodus meaning. All right. It says late Old English, the second book of the Old Testament, from Latin Exodus, from Greek Exodus, a military expedition, a solemn procession, departure, death, literally a going out. So yeah, basically it just means departure. Okay. From X out and hold those away path roads. Yeah, away going out. All right, departure. All right. So we had the Lord had, delivered all Israel in the first Exodus, which we got out of ancient Egypt. And now in this new Egypt, the Lord is only delivering the elect of Israel. Okay. There's going to be a second Exodus. Now type it on Google. What is the second Exodus, right? Just to see what they would show. So the second Exodus refers to a prophetic concept often interpreted as a future event a future event where God will gather his people, the descendants of ancient Israel, and lead them back to the land of Israel, mirroring the original Exodus from Egypt. Okay, you know, it says here's a more detailed explanation. The concept of a second Exodus is rooted in biblical prophecies, particularly those found in the Old Testament, which foretell a time of restoration and a gathering of God's people. Prophetic interpretations. Many interpretations of the second Exodus envision a time when God will intervene to bring the scattered descendants of Israel back to their homeland, similar to how Moses led the Israelites out of civil slavery in Egypt. But this time, you know, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach is going to come back, and he's going to deliver the elect mainly out of North America, but all over the world. Let me get that precept real quick. All right, this is how we getting out of here. It ain't gonna be by no boat, no ship, no plane. Okay, it's gonna be by the Lord. Matthew 24, right? Starting in verse 30. Start verse 29. She says a glorious return. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, talking about the Jacob's trouble, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give a light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall, this was the Son of Man, Yahweh Shai. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, because he's going to return with those so-called UFOs, right? And if if you know about the story of the Exodus and splitting of the sea and everything, all right, you know that the scriptures describe a cloud leading the Israelite through the wilderness and everything, right? Which is actually a so-called UFO, right? When you go into it, but you can go into it right now. But when you look up this word cloud, right here, Strong's G3507 and Phele, right, and it says here a cloud, usually the cloud which led the Israelites in the wilderness, which is a so-called UFO. Okay, you know, because that cloud that led the Israelites in the wilderness could maneuver. And what white cloud out here have you ever seen maneuver back and forth? All right, then. This is a so-called UFO. But this is Yahweh Shai was talking about, his return here. Matthew 24:31, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together what? His elect, meaning the elect of the nation of Israel, chosen, not all Israel this time. Only the elect of the nation of Israel from the four winds, from all over the earth, from one end of heaven to the other, you see? So from all over the world, but mainly here in North America, you see? So before I move on, let me read back here again. It says, key themes, it says, the second Exodus shares themes with the original Exodus, such as redemption, a liberation from a state of exile or oppression. Yeah, because right now Israel is oppressed. Okay, we got this devil over us. Okay, you know, restoration is as a return to a promised land and a renewed relationship with the Most High. Here we're gonna go back to Israel, the land of Israel, right? And hey, we're gonna really be at one with our power. We're gonna have the law, statutes, and commandments within our inward parts. Just gathering and bringing together of scattered people from all corners of the earth. Leadership, a figure often interpreted as a Messiah or a leader appointed by the Most High who will guide the people on their journey. But Yahweh Shai is going to return. Okay, you know. So, and I was going to get the scripture, but I'm going to read it here. Isaiah 11:11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord will set his hand again to recover. So I can read it again. It shall come to pass in that day that the Lord will set his hand again to recover the remnant of his people, See, again, this is in the KJV, but it says the second time, though, in the KJV. It says, who are left from Assyria, from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, from Hamath, and from all the islands of the sea. All right? Look, modern interpretations. Some interpret the second Exodus as a literal event in the future, while others see it as a spiritual or symbolic event representing the ongoing process of God work in the world. Now, it's going to be a literal event, you know, and this is going to be this is going to be major. Everybody going to see this, as it says when Yahweh Shai returns. Every man, look, Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7, right? Says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they all, the chief gonna return with the chariots, and everyone is gonna see him. It says, and they also which pierced him, even those same soldiers that pierced him over 2,000 years ago, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so among. All right, you know, so everyone's gonna see Yahweh Shai. All right, and they're gonna see, the elect getting delivered. When he comes and beams them back up. This is the book of Revelation 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. You see? Is that second Exodus, man. All right. Let me get real quick. Jeremiah 16. And starting at verse 14. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, says the Most High will restore them. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall be no more said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, meaning what? North America, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. You see? We're going to go home, all right? And it's going to happen by way of Yahweh Shai returning. That's how we get it home, okay? Back to our land that's rightfully ours, okay? The Lord gave us that land, okay? Let me get some more in that wisdom of Solomon real quick. Uh, 13? Oh, let's see, maybe it's 16. All right, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, right? Starting at verse 3, it says, for it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land, whom thou hatest, which the old inhabitants were who were Hamites that dwelt in that land. It says, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcrafts and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh and the feasts of blood, with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that kill with their own hands souls destitute of help. This is you getting so you can hear you get an idea what the those Hamites were doing back in the land before we got in there. Verse 7, that the land which thou esteemest above all other might receive a worthy colony of God's children. See that? So that's our land. The Lord, and right now, the Lord sent us out. Okay, but we coming back. Oh yeah, we coming back better than ever too, man. We coming back better than ever. All right, let me get this real quick. The book of Second Ezra, chapter 15. All right, and verse 11. I'm starting verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, which Egypt, all right, there's you got ancient Egypt, then you got modern day Egypt, which modern day Egypt is what? America. Okay. America is a new modern day Egypt. Deuteronomy 20:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. America, USA, right? Revelation 11:8. spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Okay, America is this new modern day Egypt. All right, not saying that the Egypt in Africa don't exist, but these prophecies talking about Egypt being totally destroyed, it's talking about America. All right, you know, and going into it about America, Egypt in the last days, the Lord's people being taken there and delivered from there. It's talking about America. 2 Ezra 15:11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, talking about Yahweh coming back and delivering his elect, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy the land thereof. So the Lord is going to destroy, so the Lord is going to send the same plagues he sent on ancient Egypt on America. All right, and he's going to destroy the land of America by what? Nuclear missiles, man. All right, this modern day Egypt. This is how, this like this new modern day Egypt, America is going to be destroyed. Okay, Micah chapter 4 and verse 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon, America. All right, there shalt thou be delivered. There Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies. You see? So America is the last stop before the kingdom. Okay? The Lord is going to the Lord is going to mainly deliver the elect out of North America, but he's also going to do from all over the world. All right? You see? And as it said here in you know, uh, a return to a promised land. There's a bunch of scriptures on it, man. All right? There's a bunch of scriptures on it. Okay? But let me get oh yeah. Actually, I'm gonna get this because we in these, times now. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, right? It says, for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, and in the time the Lord would deliver the Israelites out of slavery, well, he's going to do something. And what is that? Verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. You see? So, the time the Lord is going to deliver us, he's going to cause these nations to fight each other. He's going to bring about World War III. All right. But I also want to get this real quick. Ezekiel 37, because us Israelites, we woke up. All right. The Lord promised to wake us up, and he's kept his promise. Lord is good for that, man. Keeping his promises, man. This is the book of Ezekiel 37, starting in verse 11. Then said he unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. We're them dry bones. We were them dry bones, rather. All right, because we know who we are, etc. But now we woke up. Verse 12. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves, meaning the Lord will bring us out of that dead state we're in. All right, by giving us this truth. That's why Revelation 11:11 it says what it says. Okay, but what's going to happen next? It says, and bring you into the land of Israel. You see, the Lord is going to bring his people back home. This is a prophecy. Okay. Verse 13, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I, Yahweh, have spoken it and performed it, saith Yahweh. You see, when we go back, we're gonna have rule, man. We're gonna have rule over the world. Okay. Um, let me get the previous chapter, Ezekiel 36, right? Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 8. Because, but ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come. For behold, I am, see, so we about to go home, for they are at hand to come. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. So the land of Israel is going to be worked on, planted upon. Verse 10, and I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it. And the cities shall be inhabited, and the waste shall be builded. And I will, so we, we're going to have what? That's so we're going to have, sex in the kingdom, man. We're going to have children upon children, and many women that have all these children with. All right, verse 11, when we go back home. And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit, and I will settle you after your old estates, and will do better unto you than at your beginnings, and ye shall know that I'm Yahweh. And this also proves that 2/3 are going to be brought back in the kingdom, because who them children are going to be? Verse 12, yea, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth bereave them of men. Okay, one more precept for that. This is the book of Isaiah 14 and 1. It says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. See? So we don't have to get a plane ticket or a boat ride back to Israel. The Lord is the one that's going to do it. Because you go over there now, them small hatches over there. They ain't the real people, man. You know? Where are they massively reproducing at? Okay? They ain't the real people. All right? Where are they slaves at? You know? Why they still, why they fighting these heathen nations? Okay? It says, and the strangers which are Israelite foreigners shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. All right. That's the point on that. All right. So there's a second Exodus coming, man. All right. But Exodus 12 and 42 now says, ordinance of the Passover. It says, it is a night to be much observed unto Yahweh for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of Yahweh to be observed of all the children of Israel and their generations. Verse 43, and Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. Okay. And stranger here in the Hebrew, all right, is Nakar, which is going to a literal heathen, someone of another nation that's not an Israelite. Foreign, it says foreign, alien. All right, foreign is that which is foreign, yeah. So you can't eat, it's like you can't, well, let me say, then a heathen can't eat the Passover. All right. Exodus 12. All right. And 43, it says, Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. So he supposed to eat of it. So he's supposed to be circumcised, when you eat the Passover. All right. You know, verse 45, it says, a foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof. Okay. And a foreigner talking about a heathen. Heathens can't be a part of the Passover. All right, verse 46, it says, in one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught, meaning anything of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. Right? Talking about the lamb. Okay. Once again, going to show you your house shy, man. Look, now that's what I typed in earlier. Could a Passover lamb's leg be broken? So it says no. According to the rules for the Passover lamb in Exodus 12 and 46, you are not allowed to break any of his bones. This prohibition is significant because in the New Testament, Yahweh Shai, the Lamb of Yahweh, is described as having his bones not broken, fulfilling a prophecy. So Exodus 12 and 46, the Torah, which in the Hebrew is Thawarah, which means law, states, it shall, we just read it, all right? Passover lamb, okay? Symbolic, we read that. John 19:36. So the Gospel of John states, for these things were done that the scripture should be fulfilled. Not a bone of him is broken. Not a bone of him shall be broken. Let me get that real quick. 19 verse 36. All right. says, care of the body of Yahweh Shai, St. John 19, starting verse 31. The Jews, therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was an high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken, and that they might be taken away. So, um, verse 32 says, then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first and of the other that was crucified with him. But when they came to Yahweh Shai and saw that he was dead already, they brake not his legs. But one of the so they didn't break his bones, they didn't break his legs. But one of the soldiers with the spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. And he that saw it bear record, and his record is true. And he knoweth that he saith true, that ye might believe. For these things were done that the scripture should be fulfilled. The bone of him shall not be broken. Another scripture, and again another scripture say, they shall look on him whom they pierced. All right. This is the bone of him shall not be broken. Yeah. Okay. A bone of him ain't gonna be broken. They didn't, just showing that significance. And Yahweh Shai, it's like, the lamb. All right. You're not supposed to break, any of the lamb. You're not supposed to break any bones of the Passover lamb. You see? So it says here in Old Testament prophecy concerning Yahweh Shai HaMashiach was that not one of his bones is broken. Psalm 34:20. All right. So moving on though. Exodus 12 and 47. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, right? And this is an Israelite, right? And will keep the Passover to Yahweh. Let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. Right? Verse 50. Thus did all the children of Israel, as Yahweh commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the self same day that Yahweh did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. Okay? And the Lord is going to deliver us again in the land of Egypt, man. Okay? This is going to top the ancient Egypt, that the Lord did the first time. This one is going to be better. Okay? It's going to be a greater one rather. Okay? So hey, so that's Passover lesson 2025. Lord willing, this is the last Passover, man. So the Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory to whom rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, ever well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.